Welcome back here to the Hill on NewsNation. The fallout from the Donald Trump assassination attempt continues tonight, with the Secret Service suspending at least 5 agents. Now, 4 of those agents were assigned to the local Pittsburgh field office. 1 was on the former president's personal detail. Not many details currently known beyond that, with the Secret Service saying in a statement, quote, "The review is progressing, and we are examining the process, procedures, and factors that led to this operational failure." The Attorney General Merrick Garland asked about this earlier today as well.
I don't know anything about the particular disciplinary actions that are being taken. This was a security failure, and there is both an internal and an external independent investigation of what happened.
Joining us now here on the Hill, former Secret Service Special Agent Charles Marino. Charles, thanks for being back with us here on the show. Appreciate it. You have as much insight into this as anyone. So I wonder, Charles, what your initial takeaway or your initial thought was when you saw this come out, because they're still being very guarded with the details here.
Yes, they are. And I think this is a big story for a number of reasons. One, we're going to find that these personnel were intimately involved with the overall security planning that day in Butler, Pennsylvania, which catastrophically failed and allowed this incident to take place in the first place. And the second thing is the timing. We're over 30 days from the date of the incident taking place, and these agents are finally being placed on administrative leave. I've always argued this should have been an action that the agency should have taken immediately the following day. You had agents that were involved not only in this failure, but also in a significant event. And if you look at the way law enforcement across the country handles these types of incidents, administrative leave for personnel involved is always the first step.
So there are 2 different not 2 different kinds of suspensions, but one person who is the personal detail and several others from the field office. So let's take those one by one. The personal detail, as you know, but for our audience here on NewsNation or those listening to us on SiriusXM, those are the folks who stay with presidents and former presidents for years, in some cases decades, right? And so if someone from the personal detail is a part of the suspensions, Charles, is that one of the individuals who were closest around him? Maybe someone who was within feet of him? Who might that be, and what does that tell you about the failure?
Well, the answer to what you bring up is that, yes, it's somebody that's assigned full-time to the protective detail of the former president. However, what it's important for the audience to understand is that personnel from those full-time protection details can be sent out to locations to participate in the overall security planning as part of the
scouting,
advance
essentially,
team.
You're saying.
That's exactly right. And what they would have done was they would have married up with the local field office personnel based in Pittsburgh for this trip to conduct the advance. So the fact that we've got one person being mentioned as being placed on administrative leave from the detail tells me that they participated in the overall security planning with the local agents.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, obviously, because you know this way better than I ever will, but it sounds like what I'm taking from you is someone from the advance team who's a part of the overall team for the president went there with the local folks. They've identified those at least 5, and that's where all of this has started.
That's exactly right. And this is very easy to do for the agency. It's a quick process. You know who's involved in the advanced planning, who's creating the security plan, who's responsible for implementing it, who's responsible for coordinating with state and local law enforcement. So the answers have always been there. The big question is, why is it taking so long to place these individuals on administrative leave?
I hear you on the so long. Are you surprised that it's I don't want to say only 5, but 5, because maybe you think it should be fewer or more. I don't know. What do you make of that number?
That number resonates. I think we'll see that number stay fairly consistent. I don't see any gross negligence on the part of those operational agents, the inner perimeter, the detail that responded to the shooting that covered the former president's body with their own. Of course, there'll be an after-action review. You know, another thing that's important to remember is we now have 5 investigations of some form going on.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.